Hello, and welcome to the Northwoods Bookstore. How can I help you today? I see, yes, in the mood for some more books to read. Yes, I can imagine that being quite a common winter activity for many, to curl up inside and read a new book. Well, I'd be happy to assist you. Tell me, what perchance is it that you might be interested in reading? Of course, yes. New York Times bestsellers. Yes, we do carry quite a collection of books that landed on the New York Times bestsellers list over the years. So if that is something that interests you, I'd be happy to be your liaison in your search for some new reads. Hopefully we can find some books that tickle your fancy, as we might say. So, if you don't mind coming along with me, we can select a few and then come back here and look over them together. How does that sound? Great. Well then, follow me and we'll get started. So, I want to thank you for your patience walking through with me to find some of these books. So, let's take a look at some of what we came across. And hopefully, you'll be leaving here today with something enjoyable for your winter reads. The first one I have here is a book called State of Wonder by Anne Patchett. Let's see what the book blurb has in store. In a narrative replete with poison arrows, devouring snakes, scientific miracles, and spiritual transformations, State of Wonder presents a world of stunning surprise and danger, rich in emotional resonance and moral complexity. As Dr. Marina Singh embarks upon an uncertain odyssey into the insect-infested Amazon, she will be forced to surrender herself to the lush but forbidding world that awaits within the jungle. Charged with finding her former mentor, Dr. Anik Swenson, a researcher who has disappeared while working on a valuable new drug, she will have to confront her own memories of tragedy and sacrifice as she journeys into the unforgiving heart of darkness. Stirring and luminous, State of Wonder is a world unto itself, where unlikely beauty stands beside unimaginable loss beneath the rainforest's jeweled canopy. So that is State of Wonder. The next book that we have here is called A Thousand Splendid Suns, written by Khalid Hosseini. If you're not familiar with Hosseini's work, he is also the author of The Kite Runner, another terrific novel. Let's see what his book blurb has to offer. Miriam is only 15 when she is sent to Kabul to marry the troubled and bitter Rashid, who is 30 years her senior. Nearly 2 decades later, in a climate of growing unrest, tragedy strikes 15-year-old Layla, who must leave her home and join Miriam. Unhappy household. Layla and Miriam are to find consolation in each other, their friendship to grow as deep as the bond between sisters, as strong as the ties between mother and daughter. With the passing of time comes Taliban rule over Afghanistan. The streets of Kabul loud with the sound of gunfire and bombs. Life a desperate struggle against starvation, brutality, and fear. The women's endurance tested beyond their worst imaginings. Yet love can move people to act in unexpected ways, lead them to overcome the most daunting obstacles with a startling heroism. In the end, it is love that triumphs over death and destruction. A Thousand Splendid Suns is a portrait of a wounded country and a story of family and friendship, of an unforgiving time, an unlikely bond, and an indestructible love. So that is the teaser for A Thousand Splendid Suns. Quite the novel. Next in our pile, we have Normal People, written by Sally Rooney. In Normal People, Connell and Mary Ann grew up in the same small town, but the similarities end there. At school, Connell is popular and well liked, while Mary Ann is a loner. But when the two strike up a conversation, awkward but electrifying, something life-changing begins. Normal People is the story of mutual fascination, friendship, and love. It takes us from that first conversation to the years beyond, in the company of two people who try to stay apart, but find that they can't. It is quite an interesting read. That is Normal People. I decided to throw this one in, though not a New York Times bestseller. I thought that it still met some of your interest as it is a national bestseller. This book is Boy Still Missing by John Searles. Here is Boy Still Missing book blurb. It is June 1971, and Dominic Pendle, a tender-hearted but aimless Massachusetts teenager, spends his nights driving around with his mother and dragging his wayward father out of bars. Late one evening, Dominic's search puts him face to face with his father's seductive mistress, Eddie Kramer. Instantly in lust, he begins a forbidden relationship with this beautiful, mysterious woman. Before long, though, their erotic entanglement leads to a shocking death, and Dominic discovers that the mother he betrayed hid secrets as dark and destructive as his own. Charged with the exhilarating narrative pace of a thriller and set during a complicated and explosive era, Boy Still Missing is the critically acclaimed debut novel from John Searles. It renders a deeply affecting portrait of a boy whose passage into adulthood proves as complex and impassioned as the history that unfolds before his eyes. That is Boy Still Missing. It's quite a fantastic read. But let's press on. The next book here is The Secret Life of Bees, written by Sue Monk Kidd. Let's see what the book blurb has to offer. Set in South Carolina, 1964. The Secret Life of Bees tells the story of Lily Owens, whose life has been shaped around the blurred memory of the afternoon her mother was killed. When Lily's fierce-hearted black stand-in mother, Rosalind, insults three of the deepest racists in town, Lily decides to spring them both free. They escape to Tiburon, South Carolina, a town that holds the secret to her mother's past. Taken in by an eccentric trio of black beekeeping sisters, Lily is introduced to their mesmerizing world of bees and honey and the Black Madonna. This is a remarkable novel about divine female power, a story that women will share and pass on to their daughters for years to come. A terrific novel. The Secret Life of Bees. The next one that we have might be a little more intense, though still worth reading. This is the riveting Black Hawk Down by Mark Bowden. Let's see what Black Hawk Down has in store for us. A classic of war reporting, Black Hawk Down is Mark Bowden's brilliant account of the first sustained firefight involving American troops since the Vietnam War. On October 3rd, 1993, nearly 100 elite U.S. soldiers were dropped by helicopter into the teeming market in the heart of Mogadishu, Somalia. Their mission was supposed to take an hour. Instead, they found themselves pinned down through a long and terrible night fighting against thousands of heavily armed Somalis. The following morning, 18 Americans were dead, and more than 70 had been badly injured. Bowden's minute-by-minute narrative is one of the most exciting accounts of modern combat ever written. A riveting story that captures the heroism, courage, and brutality of battle. And that is Black Hawk Down. And last but not least from our pile, we have Defending Jacob by William Landy. Andy Barber has been an assistant district attorney in his suburban Massachusetts county for more than 20 years. He is respected in his community, tenacious in the courtroom, and happy at home with his wife Lori and son Jacob. But when a shocking crime shatters their New England town, Andy is blindsided by what happens next. His 14-year-old son is charged with the murder of a fellow student. Every parental instinct Andy has rallies to protect his boy. Jacob insists that he is innocent, and Andy believes him. Andy must. He's his father. But as damning facts and shocking revelations surface, as a marriage threatens to crumble and the trial intensifies, as the crisis reveals how little a father knows about his son, Andy will face a trial of his own. between loyalty and justice, between truth and allegation, between a past he's tried to bury and a future he cannot conceive. Award-winning author William Landy has written the consummate novel of an embattled family in crisis, a suspenseful, character-driven mystery that is also a spellbinding tale of guilt, betrayal, and the terrifying speed at which our lives can spin out of control. And that is Defending Jacob. So, based on what I've shown you today, are there any books that I might interest you in taking home with you today? Terrific. Wonderful. Well, I will wrap these up for you so that you can consider it a gift for yourself when you get home. I thank you for coming into my store today, and I hope to see you soon. Until then, take care.